Hello.
Well, hello.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Doing pretty well. You got really shut down on this intro music thing.
Shut down hard. That's the most feedback I've ever heard from the audience.
The strongest feedback is don't do that thing.
My gosh. Yeah.
That's funny.
We will not be doing intro music. I'll say that right now. Fear not. Let's not spin up alternative feeds where we're editing out our intro music. No need. Yeah. We will not do it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fine. I mean, it's easy. Easier for us.
Yeah.
Easier for Castos.
Exactly.
Cool.
The cold open stays.
Cold open stays. I had a meeting with a lawyer in the last week.
Ew. Why?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, there's these laws, and you have to follow them. Technically,
what an inconvenience.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
This is about hiring people in foreign countries and obeying various employment laws and ways to deal with this.
Ugh.
Friction in the gears of progress.
Yeah. I'm very similar to Rob in this front. I heard him talking about kind of this legal stuff that Tiny Seed has to deal with. And he was talking about he really enjoys the fact that he's partnered up with Einar on this venture because I think he characterized it as just it's all just friction in the system. It's boring work, but it's you have to do it. You have to know laws of different countries, but all of that is just sort of a distraction from the actual job of building a product and selling it. I hate all that stuff so much.
Yeah, I almost didn't attend the meeting because Stephen and Joel were both there, but I was let me just see what they're saying. And it was,
It was what you expected it would be.
I like our lawyer, actually. He seems pretty good and pragmatic, but just the reality of the things we have to do is okay, well, all right.
Yeah. Have you guys thought about doing a PEO?
Yeah, I think we probably will do that, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
We sort of come to the conclusion we should probably just solve this problem in a more abstract way rather than having to kind of continually figure out how to do this with each new employee. So Joel is talking to some possible PEOs right now.
Yeah. For the listeners, it's just in summary, it's an organization that you co-hire your employees with, and they take care of filing with states and stuff so that you don't have to do all of that legal BS.
Yeah, I wish it were just states, but it's also foreign governments.
And and countries, yeah.
So
right. Nation states and U.S. states.
So fortunately, capitalism has come up with a solution for this annoyance that we can just throw money at, which is great. So,
no, I've heard good things about JustWorks. I have a to-do item to look into them.
Are they global?
Oh, actually, I don't know. I don't know that for sure. They may not be. They were recommended offhand and looks like a pretty elegant solution in that they have a nicely designed marketing site. That's about all I know at this point. But and it's not crazy expensive. It's $99 per employee or something, and that's not that much more expensive than Gusto is right now. So
yeah, I've been having a very CEO of a growing company kind of couple weeks. It's meeting with the lawyer. I ran an all hands recently. And then I have been doing a lot of sourcing of candidates for our head of marketing and Linux position.
How's that coming along? The marketing?
Well, it's coming along. We're trying some things. So, of course, we're trying to reach out within my network of people I know that have marketing experience, like Len, who we had on the show a while ago, and Corey Haynes and things like that, to try to get referrals. Those are, of course, great. But each of those has got a pretty low success rate, It's you really need to catch somebody right when they're open to it. So I've also been sending a good amount of cold DMs to people. So I had this idea of looking at who follows marketers that I think are good or people that they follow, and just look at people's bios and be oh, this person seems good, and kind of using Twitter kind of like LinkedIn, just reaching out to people, just hey, any chance you might be open to something like this? I've been getting a lot of no's, but also occasional yeah, why don't we talk? It's like sales, I think. It's a lot of failure, mostly no, but it's not a 0% of moving each person to the next stage of the funnel. So if I just do enough of it.
There's just a whole ground strategy there. Takes a lot of effort, though.
It does take a lot of effort. I hired a recruiter for the Linux position just to see, get a data point on that and see how well they can supply us with a niche kind of developer position.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that turns into anything. I'm sort of hoping that we will stick to our rough strategy of we want to hire occasionally and hire really great people so we can have fewer of them. One of the benefits of that will be that like my job is not full-time DMing people and trying to get them to come work for us, because it's not that fun.
Yeah. Until you get to the scale where you can hire like a head recruiter, who can then own that whole entire initial process at least.
I think if we keep hiring at a kind of clip, which I don't expect to, but if we sort of just said, hey, this works every time we plug a new person in here, this gets better, I would probably want to try to find someone like that.
Yeah, because I think oftentimes like a VC-backed startup that has some traction will hire an in-house recruiting team, but it seems like you have to be doing enough hiring for it to kind of dollars and cents wise make sense to do that.
Right. Which probably won't. This whole like outsourced recruiting thing is like, it's a whole business.
Yep.
That's why it exists. I've gotten a couple of recommendations for agencies to look into that I'd like to try working with, because it's like, okay, it's annoying, but if you can throw 30 grand at this problem, then someone will do it for you.
So when you're like working on these types of CEO level problems, are you like waking up in the morning feeling like jazzed to do those tasks?
No, I wouldn't say that. Okay. I mean, it's easier because like Steve and I have been pairing on it. So it's, it's more fun than if I were just slogging through it by myself. Like a lot more fun. And like we kind of split up some of the stuff. Like I asked him to kind of like just scroll through somebody's followers and like pick out the people you think are worth reaching out to. And then he'll like draft a DM and like I'll send the DM, kind of like edit it up and like send it out. It's made better by that, but no, it's not my joy. I'm trying to focus on the end result and how good that can be. Just adding the right person is just amazing. So it's worth the pain.
Are you thinking of this as sort of like it's a temporary season of slogging through some things that are not particularly enjoyable, but like you will eventually get back to tasks that you find enjoyable on a regular cadence? Or do you feel like this is going to kind of perpetually be like there's another CEO level thing to do that is not your joy?
Yeah, I'm sort of hoping that we're kind of doing a bit of a hiring push right now, or like the next couple months, and then it will slow down. I wrote up a hiring plan for the next year, and it's front loaded. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get a lot of it done now-ish, and then we'll slow down and have to do less of it. But if the business keeps growing and there keeps being more opportunity, and also crucially, like if adding more people to the team keeps really moving the needle on the business, which I feel like for the right person, it kind of always does. It sort of feels like I'm probably going to be like lightly hiring all the time. So I could see it being a thing where it's kind of just like, yeah, on Wednesdays, we just always source candidates or something. Every like person you reach out to, you just have almost no chance of actually recruiting them because so many things need to be correct.
Yeah,
timing
stars
wise
have to align.
Yeah, and so I think the real move is just like kind of staying lightly in touch with like the best 100 people I would love to work with.
Yeah.
And checking in every so often. And so it's like, okay, I just like send out my like, check-in emails or DMs, on one day a week or something. And every so often one of those candidates is like, hey, you know what?
That aligns anecdotally with what I hear. When people talk about like landing at a company, they usually have been sort of flirting with them for a while, oh yeah, we met a couple years ago and then we stayed in touch and we randomly exchanged messages here and there. And lo and behold, 2 years later, now I work for them. So it is a long con for a lot of these, especially high leverage positions, I think, where,
Yeah, I have a couple people I'm like lightly recruiting and have been for a while. Like my top 5. It's like, okay, if I could name like the best people I think in the world at these things, like who would I want? Maybe one day one of them will work out. And I'll be like, damn, that was worth it because this person is incredible.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I would like to spend more of my time doing things that are more fun. I'm excited for our designer to start in March. So there'll be like more like designs, like more product stuff and more design stuff to look at and review, like which I find very fun.
Do you have a clear sense in your head of like, these are the things, parts of my job that I would love to spend most of my time on? Like I consider these fun and like, I'm going to optimize for these things in the new year? Like, is that part of your planning process?
That's a good question. It has not been part of my planning process. It's a good thing to think about. I should probably do an audit or something of that, because I've mostly been sort of planning around like, what are our ambitions? Like, what sounds exciting and interesting, but like, what sort of lifestyle at work do we want to lead, and what does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Right, it's a tricky balance to strike because I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of orient around what your ambitions are, what the outcomes you want to be from the business. But could also end up in a place where like, I hate my job. We're hitting our targets, but I hate my job.
Definitely. And I know folks in that position. And it's tricky because so I feel like Tuple is in a good position and there's sort of more opportunity out in front of us. And the time is good right now. It feels like, taking advantage of a lot of the opportunity feels important because it's not necessarily going to remain true. And so I'm sort of optimizing for Tuple growth over my personal happiness right now, I would say. But over the long term, sticking with working on Tuple requires optimizing for happiness. So it's like, when do I zig and when do I zag?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really easy to accidentally build yourself a job you hate.
Yes.
I think that's probably the default in running a company is because at the end of the day, it's someone has to do these things and it's hard to not chase growth. It's hard to say no to opportunity. It's hard to say no to someone awesome joining the team, even though it increases the complexity of managing them and the communication and all that. I feel like if you don't really try, you will accidentally make a job you hate.
Yeah.
It's like building certain complicated things for customers. It's like, okay, if we never give them this thing they want, they're probably going to be kind of always dissatisfied with the product and some number of them will leave. It's that's detrimental to the business. But if building that thing also makes our job measurably worse, then, that kind of sucks too.
I feel like Jason Cohen is one who's navigated this pretty well, where he kind of figures out when to relinquish control of a certain area of the business so that, one, it'll better serve the business. Like maybe the role, someone is better suited for those types of tasks and they really derive joy out of those tasks, where for him it would have been a slog. I guess keeping a low ego about it, because I think that's a lot of founders stay at the helm of certain initiatives just because it's because I'm the boss and I run this thing. That's definitely a trap that I don't want to fall into, of holding on too tightly onto control of things that, if I had just released that to someone else, I would be happier. They love it. The business would be better served,
Yeah. That has already helped, I would say. Having great people take over things has definitely makes my stress levels about them go down for sure. I just pulled up a post that Jason Cohen made. Now, he made this back in 2011, so maybe it's not totally, he doesn't still agree with this, but he says, this title is 10 Things I've Never Heard a Successful Startup Founder Say.
Okay, interesting.
And number 2 is, after hiring a few people, being the CEO became a lot easier, and I was able to focus on high-level strategic plans instead of fighting fires.
Yeah. Maybe the CEO job never gets easier, So it's ultimately he replaced himself as the CEO, right? That's kind of that was one way he sidestepped that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's and because of that, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this because I felt a little stressed the last couple of days. And I think a key thing I need to kind of do and think about and remember is that your expectations or what stresses you out, just changes to match the situation you're in. The last couple of days, I've just felt kind of about certain things and in the business. But our growth rate and revenue level and customer count and usage things, it's there are just so many people that would kill for these, to be where we are. The thing that's my dominant feeling is not the gratitude for the success we've had so far. It's a focus on, there's this problem over here and this thing is really stressful and I'm managing this thing over here too. And I think I've been trying to think I need to just tackle all these to-dos and get processes in place and hire people to do this stuff. And then then it'll all be calm and good. But I kind of feel it's I'm probably just going to have new problems to stress about. And then the additional success and the additional growth isn't going to mitigate that because it just becomes normal and natural as soon as it happens. And the stress fires kind of just continue to burn. There continues to be new things there. So the thing that needs work here, I think, is actually just my brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's my own expectations and my own response to the stressors.
Yes, 100% agree. I'm experiencing kind of similar sort of low grade anxiety that or just stress, not really anxiety, but just sort of stress that is not totally rational, but I think this is kind of the plight of the founder. I'm looking at metrics and metrics look good, but start of December has been rough because I think it was a bad Thanksgiving week was really bad for trials. So then gets its major dip on the curve in the following week. And then conversions have dropped a little bit because I think people are just more distracted, not really wanting to spend money on productivity tools in December. So like just like some leading indicators still look fine. Other metrics at the current moment don't look great. I'm always kind of waiting, like, when is this kind of consistency? We have a lot of consistent metrics right now that have been holding strong or improving for the last quarter or 2 quarters. And it's like, when is this going to end? When are we going to like suddenly like trial conversion rates are going to plummet, churn's going to go way up, and then we're going to hit a plateau, and then now it's like, all right, now we're dealing with a major fire. And I still don't have any indicator that that's happening imminently, but also like it could happen, at any like span of a couple of weeks, things could shift. These things happen. And like, I think I kind of live in a constant state of feel like I'm looking over my shoulder, waiting for that plateau to come or something. And yeah, that definitely just feels like a brain hacking bug more than anything, because we're just making consistent progress on a lot of fronts, and it's a slow march in a lot of areas. And the sum total of those things are leading to, pretty consistent metrics, I think. And so I need to remember that, and then just be willing to like accept the fact that, if the plateau comes, we'll problem solve it. We'll figure it out. Don't stress about it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like part of what makes it difficult is like, there's no steady state you can just decide to drop into. There's too much entropy. There's too much other stuff going on. It's like, even where we're at with the team size and the revenue and the growth, it's like, it still feels like slightly tenuous. It's like, well, like something could change. There's some external thing, some internal thing. It feels like you can't make it, at least in my brain. It's impossible to just be like, okay, and now like my worries about the future of the business are allayed, and I can proceed forward with just a clear mind.
Yep.
I don't know if you can really get there.
No. And I was thinking about the fact that SaaS is, so many different entrepreneurs in different industries would kill for the kind of consistency that we can achieve with our businesses. Like, even if we were to stop putting effort in, like, SaaS businesses die very slowly. The MRR doesn't go away instantly unless you have some major disruption, like a platform risk thing where they just make your app not work at all. Generally, things will just sort of taper off slowly. I was thinking about like restaurants, like it's currently snowing outside right now. And so like literally just a blizzard could cause a restaurant to be fully staffed up and then suddenly have 0 customers one night, and they lose thousands of dollars. And it must be really stressful being in that industry. And we don't generally have those same types of fluctuations and risks that come with our software companies. And yet it still feels fragile to me, which is just kind of interesting.
I'm very glad I don't run a restaurant. That seems like a very rough business for sure. I think having talked to a bunch of people, many of whom are more successful in business than I have been, it doesn't seem like this goes away. And so I think the key is recognizing that like the only thing you can do, I think, is manage your response to it. That there will just always be problems. There's always some metric on the dashboard that's upsetting. They're never all going up at once, at least for me. And like when they're all looking pretty good, there's still, customers having problems. We're dropping the ball on certain things. I wish this thing had come out faster. I wish we could ship this. There's just too much complexity and entropy out there to like, you're never going to get it fully under control. And so it's always going to be kind of stressful. And so you got to have a different strategy other than just like be stressed all the time. I think otherwise we just burn out and like have to get out of it. I don't want to live in that state. So let's meditate.
Yeah. With that being said,
kind of not joking. I feel like that's kind of like the right idea, actually.
Yeah. Dealing with how your own brain processes this state of being at the helm of a SaaS company. Like it is very internal.
I do think it helps to have people to talk to, people to commiserate with. That has been definitely useful for me. Like going to conferences and having a couple text message threads with a few different founders, being in a couple groups with people is like nice to just see like, okay, this is not a unique experience I'm having.
Yeah. Yep. No, I feel like I need constant reminder of that, because you can quickly forget, like go a couple of weeks without like commiserating with other founders. And it becomes a lonely place, I think.
There can be problems and it can be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like these things coexist. Like we got an interesting email from one of our advisors a couple of days ago where I sort of summarized the year and talked about our next year's plans. I sent some metrics in that. And he sort of seized on one of them and was like, whoa, this metric, this is scary. This is bad. You need to devote a ton of effort into fixing this metric. And then wrote like, P.S., like when can I invest?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like my inclination is like, oh man, he's right. Freak out about the metric. This is a problem. What are we going to do? His sort of more holistic outside view is like, yeah, that's a problem. You should fix it. And like, when you do, that'll be good. Also, like, the overall prospects of the company are good and I'm interested in being involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that attitude of like focusing on the problems kind of mostly serves us while running companies. Like, it's like kind of the right default-ish stance, I think, is like, you have to care about the problems. Like, you're trying to make something great, so you got to fix the problems. But if you wallow in the problems or think like, oh my God, this problem's bad, we'll have this problem forever, I can't do anything about it, like, then you start to get like a really bad
It's kind of like having the healthy amount of stress about certain things. I remember this was even earlier on when I was trying to figure out, what I'm doing with my business before I really had latched onto SavvyCal as the product. And I remember having these conversations with well-intentioned people who would say, oh, Derrick, you're smart. You know what you're doing. You'll figure this out. Like, I have total confidence in you. Like, as a way to try to help, communicate to me, like, you shouldn't be so stressed. And my response was kind of like, the only way I'm going to figure this out is by sweating about this, by being somewhat stressed about this, because if I'm not, then nothing happens. It's going through this grueling process that involves me being stressed that I'm going to arrive at something. I have to hustle for it. I have to be ambitious about it and be clever about it. And that takes a lot out of me and it is stressful, but like, that's the only way that results happen sometimes, So yeah, I shouldn't be toxically stressed. Like, it should be within reason, but also like, no, I have to be under a certain amount of stress in order for the quote unquote magic to happen,
Yeah, that makes sense. I think a part of the thing is here for me is that it's the hedonic adaptation and then like the fear of loss, where it's like, if the business doesn't grow and throw off more profit, like, why is that super bad? Well, because I want it to. I want more. I want like a bigger, brighter future. I want exciting things to happen. I want new stuff to happen. It's like, if you wanted to optimize for calm or like, contentment or something, you could just say, well, once we hit a certain revenue level, we're only going to do the fun stuff, or like we're going to completely optimize for like the happiness of the people that work here, even though we know it will probably not help, like not be the optimal thing for the business, and that would be a reasonable way to do it. But the thing you're fighting is like, well, I'm used to this revenue level. I'm used to us making this much money, and like for it to like stay the same or get like go down. Oh my God, imagine if it went down. And like, even though it's like Tuple is a very profitable company, like we're doing really well and like it's great. But it's like, oh well, if imagine if like next year we shrunk by 10%, it would be like, oh, that feels awful. It's like, well, aren't you still like doing really, really well? Like, yeah, totally. Like, wouldn't almost any of your like friends want to trade places for that? That's this terrible fate you're going through? Like, possibly, yeah. I think a lot of it's just like getting attached to like the monetary side, to the success side, like, and just being like, well, this can never go down. It can only go up and it needs to keep going up. Otherwise it's not good.
Yeah. And knowing what game are you playing? What are you optimizing for? Like, if being in business, being an entrepreneur, for some people it is lifestyle. It's like to get enough revenue in the door so that I don't have to work on this thing. And I think I've realized after kind of studying the people who go really deep into lifestyle and like the kind of digital nomad types who are like, no, I'm going to bring in enough revenue and move to a really low cost of living place so then I can just surf all the time or something, I think for me, I've realized like I would not be happy doing that, because it's not the game I want to play, and I would be stressed all the time, like, because I'm abandoning the thing that I've gotten up to a meager state just so I can go and not think about it. Like, I actually found that I really enjoy building the company side thing. That's actually where I derive my joy from. Yes, I have my hobbies too, but I don't want to just do the hobbies all the time. I derive a ton of joy out of like seeing the business grow and flourish. And that's totally okay. There's no right answer, I don't think. It really just depends on who you are and what your motivations are.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. It's like the stress is the cost of choosing that path, but that path is fine. It's a totally reasonable path to choose. Yeah, I think I might be kind of romanticizing this idea of like, well, what if you just optimize for your happiness all the time? But like, is that actually good? Like, does that really result in a life that you feel great about?
Yeah. I don't think so.
It depends what it looks. I mean, yeah, it depends on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Similar to how optimizing for like an easy job is not the right thing either. Like if you have a day where like nothing eventful happens, you kind of come away from it feeling like I was if you were like semi bored all day long and there were no stressors on you, there was no challenges to solve. Like that's kind of a crappy day in my mind. Like the good days are where you sink into a problem and you reach kind of the point of despair a little bit with it. And you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to solve this? And then you solve it. That's fulfilling,
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true. And the stress is the cost, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or
it's a byproduct that you need to try to manage and keep within a healthy range. I think it's just a healthy range for it.
Mm-hmm. Just enough stress.
Yeah. A little story sort of related to these things as I've been thinking about 2022. So I had an interaction this week. So we have an integration with Fastmail, who's like a privacy-centric email and calendar hosting service. And SavvyCal integrates with them. And we started to get a couple bug reports from people who had integrated Fastmail with their SavvyCal account saying that their recurring events were not showing up properly or not blocking their availability properly. And I looked into it and was able to reproduce it. And it seemed kind of strange to me. And we use CalDAV to integrate with Fastmail. And it's kind of there's a large spec on this protocol. And I don't feel like I fully understand all the nuances of it. And so I was kind of like, went down the rabbit hole for a while, looking at the spec closely, seeing, is it something we're doing that's causing these recurring events to not be queried properly? And banged my head against the wall for a little while, couldn't figure it out. And I was like, okay, what do I do next here? I could send a support email to just the general like Fastmail support inbox, but this is sort of not like a support ticket from a customer. Like this is more like a technical integrator type of question. So I was trying to figure out the right path. And someone had introduced me a few months back to the CEO of Fastmail, because we were launching an integration and it was kind of like, hey, I see you integrated with them. I know the CEO. He's very nice. You guys should meet each other and talk about, potential like partnership opportunities or whatever. And we'd had a very friendly, pleasant exchange back then. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just shoot him a quick email and see if he can point me in the right direction. Like, I'm not asking for direct support from him on this, but like ping somebody or just tell me to send it to the support queue if that's the right place, like whatever. So I sent him an email and like literally 5 minutes later, he responds back like, hey, thanks so much. I've CC'd 4 people from our team who one of them could probably help out with this. And, feel free to send along any more information. And so I was impressed. And then like 2 minutes after that, one of the people chimed in with like very smart, specific questions to try to get to the bottom of what I was talking about. And then we went back and forth a little bit, sort of rapid fire over email. And then like 3 hours later, he responded back and was like, we figured out what the problem is. We're going to try to see what we can do about patching this. Holiday season might be interfering with our timeline. And I was like, totally understand. The customer impact's pretty high for me. So like, I would really like to see something shipped. And he was like, yeah, let me see what I can do. And then hours after that, the CEO emails back and says like, turns out it was a simple fix. We were able to push fix for this. So this was a very fast interaction. And it just got me kind of thinking about my own cadence of working and how I deal with like external messaging coming my way. So people email me pretty often. Sometimes it's just asking for help or asking questions about something. I'll just occasionally get like people from the industry just wanting to like chat. Like, hey, I like what you're doing with SavvyCal. Would love to like meet you. Can we like hop on a call? And a lot of times these types of interactions cause me to feel annoyed or something. Like someone's wanting to make a claim on my time. And after this interaction kind of got me thinking, like, I think that's kind of a bug to be so highly optimized with my time where I feel like I don't have any time for interfacing with people outside of the company or industry partners or whatever. Like those serendipitous interactions that can occur just by like, yeah, you're doing something cool, I'm doing something cool, let's chat and just meet each other and network a little bit. I don't know. I'm starting to realize that like it's good to be optimized, to optimize your calendar, optimize your schedule for productivity. And my maker schedule is very optimized. But I think it's a little bit of a bug in my company operating system if if like that doesn't leave any room for me to be, just be helpful or be willing to spend some time with people, even though it doesn't have like a direct productive benefit in the meantime. So just something I've been thinking about.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. Like, I think it's good to guard your time, I think, but it's also can be tough to predict when a new relationship will pay off or how much. I had a random internet friend that somehow I like met through Twitter, and then like we like kind of liked each other. So eventually we did like started doing like a call, and then we like would chat like once a month. And then I was going to MicroConf, and he was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, this friend of mine is going to MicroConf. You should totally meet him while you're there. His name is Adam Wathen." It's like this random person connected me to Adam, who I've now been friends with for a long time, and like has just been a great person to know. And it came out of that like random initial connection that was, never would have guessed how these things would connect to each other. So yeah, I like that. I mean, like leaving a little room for serendipity, like being open to like, hey, this might just turn to be something great in a way I can't predict.
Kudos to the CEO of Fastmail. He has architected his job in such a way where like a random email from me lands in his inbox, and he feels like he has the capacity to be able to just like respond quickly, copy in the right people, and just make stuff happen. Like, and yeah, that feels good. That feels optimal to me, which is why I'm excited to be. I can say that I'm making progress on getting help on the engineering side. Like things are moving on that, and I think I'm really excited for that, especially because I want to move more towards this having a little more slack in my system. For being able to have these random interactions.
Yeah, I could see how having a company of more than one person might make sense.
Yeah, there might be a reason to have kind of a team.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Like the thing that I like is notable to me is not just that like the CEO had space, but also like he probably had that space because he had the team to send it to.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Like if he were writing all the code for the business or whatever, like then probably your request gets thrown to the bottom because like, well, I can't spend time on this guy's thing.
Yeah. And that's where like, when you're young and early, like there's a benefit to, your first customers being able to interface directly with the founder. They have a lot of kind of natural sway over the direction of the product because, if you only have a handful of customers, like these are the people that you're listening to. So there's like value to the customer in that. But I think you can reach a point where, the founder can get so overtaxed that like it's actually now becomes difficult to provide really good service to customers because I'm just, I'm so at my limit on capacity. And so I think it just feels like the right timing on all fronts for me to be, increasing our capacity a bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be, I think, 10 people pretty soon.
Oh, man. Nice.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy.
So our capacity has increased. I mean, it's really fun to see. It's crazy to see things get done that I didn't know were happening.
Yeah.
That feels like a new milestone. Yeah. It's not just like things are happening that I didn't do, but things are happening that I didn't even know were happening in the first place. And it's like, wow, that's kind of amazing. And the nice thing is, like, because we hired really good people, they're doing a great job with it. It's like when I notice it after the fact, I'm like, oh yeah, that seems smart and good, and wow, nice job on this thing, and that's awesome, great to see. So that's really cool.
I can only imagine how much like Patrick Collison, like thousands of engineers working at Stripe. There's probably stuff getting built and shipped all the time that he had no idea about.
Yeah,
this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I wonder the degree to which that happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be on the extreme end of that, though.
Yeah.
If you're hiring that fast and doing that many things, like,
yep. Yeah.
I don't think anybody could really keep track of all of it.
No.
One last thing before we wrap. We would love to find someone to make us some Twitter audiograms. So one of our goals for growing the show next year is, or one of our sort of plans to grow the show is to have those little like subtitled, descripty style audiogram things that happen with like interesting excerpts from the shows. So if you are a fan of the podcast / want to do some of this work, like we'd love to have someone that could just do the whole thing. Like listen to the episode, know it well enough to understand like, hey, these are kind of like the cool moments from this one. Pull out a couple, edit them up so that it has kind of like that nice little video with the subtitles, and tweet them out. And we would love to pay someone to do that for us. So you can just DM me if you want, R00K. Anything else on that?
No, that captures it.
Cool. Okay. Shall we wrap?
Let's wrap.
Notes of the show.
Notes of the show can be found at artofproductpodcast.com.
See you later.
See ya.